Hey, everybody. The conclusion of this epic day in the courtroom here in Portland, Oregon has concluded. And what a fascinating event. So I don't really know where to begin other than this morning I was telling you about being there in the federal court building. And then, of course, 91-year-old judge, federal judge Jones, and his respect for the jury and having everyone stand for the jury still is an outstanding scene in my mind. Each and every time we went in and out of the courtroom and we'd have a pause, he would always, he wouldn't have anyone stand for him. He'd always have everyone stand for the jury. Anyway, that just impressed me throughout the day. The other thing that was fascinating about this case is that it really feels like to the observer, it feels like this case is about Lavoy Finicum and you know how bad he was, but really the chess match inside the courtroom is pitting the FBI law enforcement against the Oregon State Patrol SWAT team. Their credibility, their training, their communications with each other, and so it to me it's a fascinating. It's a fascinating example of our dual federal system of government and how conflict between the levels of government are inserted there to provide protections for the governed, to prevent them from colluding with each other to create oppression for the rest of us. And so that was a fascinating thing to observe in the courtroom today was this tension, this dual federal tension between the state of Oregon's law enforcement SWAT division and the defense representing the FBI agent in this case, and pitting them against each other. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the plaintiffs in the wrongful death lawsuit for Lavoy Finicum's death play this, because it'll be pitting them, basically Oregon State Police plus the FBI, against Lavoy Finicum. And so this trial going before Lavoy Finicum's wrongful death, right now it's basically pitting Oregon State Police against the FBI and their credibility. And so how's that going to translate over into the wrongful death lawsuit for Lavoy Finicum? So again, as I pointed out before, from 2014 up until today, this entire story is one of the most epic stories that I've been involved in my life. I mean, I could go on for hours, but basically this is such an epic story, and it's definitely worth your time to pay attention. Because it could be you in that courtroom. I just could see the nervousness. I was looking at the FBI agent, and on one hand, you know, you want them to be held accountable, and then on the other hand, I'm like respecting the justice system for the way it's handled in the courtroom and the presenting of the evidence, and obviously there's some concerns about the behavior of judges in other cases around the country throughout history, and even recently with Oregon and Nevada trials of the standoff and the occupation in Malheur. But I think, anyway, I just gained a little bit more respect today for our justice system, observing the system. I could see the tension there, and it gave me an appreciation for our dual federal system, the tension that was created between the state and the federal systems there, between the law enforcement officers. I wish you could be there to see it. But on the other hand, I just want to let you know, I gained a personal appreciation for our system of government today, just a little bit more, and also hope. I think there's hope for our system, that dual federalism exists to create that tension on purpose, and that, you know, I'll give more in the future about cooperative federalism and the need for governing to be able to cooperate with each other. But anyway, just being there today gave me a personal appreciation for our dual federal system. I could see the burden on all of the people involved, and because of the system, it put that burden on them. And being there to observe it, obviously, being there with Jeanette Finicum today too, and sitting next to her, I could see the weariness in her eyes, in her body, going through this. The officer who shot her husband twice was on the stand. The officer who was giving the commands for Lavoie to stop and get on the ground was there. And you could just see it wearing on her. You could see it wearing on the Oregon State Police officer. I could see it wearing on the FBI agent, Astorita. And of course, my mind is fried after this day as well. So anyway, I just want to give you guys those updates, and there'll be more tomorrow because the trial will commence with one of the officers from the Oregon State Police involved in the shooting of Lavoie Finicum. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening. And again, I hope that these updates are helpful and that you gain some more appreciation of our dual federal system. Thanks. Talk to you guys tomorrow.